Let me guess something. You are trying to learn German but get confused with the terms like Akkusativ or Dativ. Don't worry, you are not alone. In this video, I am going to show you when to use Akkusativ and when to use Dativ. So without doing any further ado, let's directly get started. So volume 1, the basics. Okay, first, what are these fancy words? Like what does Akkusativ means or what does Dativ means? So Akkusativ basically means the direct object, like the thing being affected. On the other hand, Dativ is the indirect object, the person receiving something. Let's understand this through an easy example. Ich gebe dir ein Buch. Ich gebe dir ein Buch. So, dir in this case is dative because you are giving something to someone. And on the other hand, ein Buch is accusative because the thing is being given. So think of it like this. If you are doing something to something, then it's accusative. On the other hand, if you are doing something for someone or to someone, then it's dative. Let's break it down even more. Here's a pro tip. Imagine a pizza. Ich esse die Pizza. Ich esse die Pizza. That basically means I am eating the pizza or I eat the pizza. In this case, pizza, die Pizza is accusative. On the other hand, ich bringe dir die Pizza. Ich bringe dir die Pizza. That means I bring you the pizza. In this case, this is dative. As we have learned previously, if you are doing something to something, then it's accusative. In this case, you are eating the pizza. That's why you are doing something to something and that's why it's accusative. On the other hand, if you are doing something to someone or for someone, for example, in this case, you are bringing the pizza for someone, that's why it's dative. And as you can see, dir is the dative form here. So now you may ask, okay, these are two of the cases like accusative or dative. How many cases are in total in German? So German has 4 grammatical cases and these are nominative, accusative, dative and genitive. But don't panic, we are only focusing on the 2 most important cases for now, which are accusative and dative. Let's continue with volume number 2, which is accusative explanation. So now the question is, when do we use accusative? Use it after certain verbs like lieben, sehen, haben, kaufen, essen. And these are not the only accusative verbs. There are tons of accusative verbs. You can find a list of accusative verbs down below in the description. For now, let's understand the use cases of accusative. Here are some examples. Ich sehe den Hund. Ich sehe den Hund. That means I see the dog. In this case, this is accusative and as you can see, der Hund became den Hund. Okay? Then we have wir haben einen Tisch. Wir haben einen Tisch. That means we have a table and it's also accusative because you can see ein Tisch became einen Tisch. And this is how articles in accusative transform. On the left side we have the nominative form, on the right side we have the accusative forms. So at first we have the der article. This is the only article which change in accusative form. So at first we have the article der and this is the only article which changes in accusative case. As you can see, der turns into then. So that means if there is any accusative verb, then you will say then instead of there. And the rest remain the same. You can see die remain die, das, die. Okay, so remember only there you have to change in accusative cases. Here is a trick. Ask yourself, what am I verbing? Okay, if the answer is a thing, then it's accusative. Now here's a mini quiz for you. Ich kaufe dash Apfel. Can you fill the blank? Here's a hint for you. Apfel has the article der. And how do you transform der in accusative form? You say den. Okay. In this case, you say ich kaufe den Apfel. Okay, ich kaufe den Apfel. Hey, sorry for interruption, but if you have just started learning German and want to pass your A1 and A2 exam as quick as possible, like in just 1 or 2 months, then my fast track programs can be a good suit for you. You can find them down below in the description. Now let's get back to the video. Let's continue with volume number 3, which is dative explanation. Now you may ask, okay, that was all about accusative, but when do we use dative? And the answer is, use it after certain verbs like geben, helfen, danken, gehören, zeigen. So these are not the only verbs which are dative. There are tons of verbs. You can also find the dative verb list down below in the description. So geben is to give, helfen to help, danken to thank, gehören to belong, zeigen to show. Okay? Here are some examples. Ich helfe dem Mann. Ich helfe dem Mann. In this case, der transform into dem and it's dative. I help the man because helfen is the dative verb. Then we have the next example. Sie gibt dem Kind ein Geschenk. Sie gibt dem Kind ein Geschenk. It's also dative because as you can see, the verb geben. If you have the verb geben, then there turns into them, because in dative you turn there to them. And here's how articles in dative transform. As usual, we have on the left side the nominative cases, and on the right side we have the dative articles. So let's go through each of them. At first we have the article there. There transform in dative into them. Okay, you have to change completely from there to them if there's any dative verb. Then we have the transform into there. Okay, if you have any dative verb, then you say there. Then we have thus transform into them, same as like the there article. And then finally we have the transform into then, and plus n on the noun. So these are the nominative articles like there, the, thus, the, and these are the dative articles like them, there, them, then. And here's a trick for you. Ask yourself, is the question is to whom or for whom? Then it's dative. And here's a mini quiz for you. Ich zeige dash, fahr den Weg. Ich zeige, then we have the blank and fahr den Weg. Can you fill the blank? Here's a hint for you. Frau has the article the, and zeigen is a dative verb. So how do you transform the in dative cases? You say der Frau. Okay, der Frau. So in this case we don't say ich zeige die Frau den Weg, we say ich zeige der Frau den Weg. So let's continue with volume number 4, prepositions that decide everything. Some prepositions always take accusative. For example, durch, für, gegen, ohne, So durch means through, für is for, gegen against, ohne without, and around. These are the prepositions that always take accusative. So that means if you have any of these prepositions inside your sentence, then you have to transform the article in accusative form. On the other hand, there are some prepositions that always take dative. For example, aus basically means from any location. Then by means at, mit, with, nach, after, seit, since, von, from, and so, to. So if you find any of these prepositions in your sentence, then you have to transform the article or pronoun into dative. Let's understand this through some example. At first we have ich gehe mit dem Bus. Ich gehe mit dem Bus. That basically means I go with the bus. In this case, you can see you have to turn there into them. Normally bus has the article there, but you have to say it them. And how do we recognize that we have to turn it into dative case? Because of mit. As you can see, we have the preposition mit. That's why you say them instead of there. The next example we have ich laufe durch den Park. Ich laufe durch den Park. That means I walk through the park. And in this case, this is accusative because you can see we have the preposition durch. And as durch is an accusative preposition, that's why you turn there into then. Park has also the article there, and you have to transform into then because it's accusative. And now we have understood this through both of the examples. Like the first one was dative, the second one was accusative. So let's continue with volume number 4, which is two-way prepositions, or known as Wechsel Prepositionen. Now we have the tricky part. Some prepositions use both accusative and dative depending on movement or location. Verbs like auf, in, an, unter, vor, hinter, neben, zwischen. So these are the verbs which can use both of the accusative or dative. It can be either accusative or dative depending on the movement or location. Let's break it down even more. Accusative is equal to movement, and the question should be here wohin. Wohin, that means where to. And on the other hand, dative is equal to no movement, or the question should be here wo. Wo means where. Let's understand this through some example. At first we have ich gehe in das Zimmer. Ich gehe in das Zimmer. It's accusative because I'm going to somewhere. Like I'm going into the room, that means I have some kind of movement. On the other hand, ich bin in dem Zimmer. Ich bin in dem Zimmer. That's dative because I'm already in the room. Like I'm staying, or I have a specific location. That means it can be answered with the question wo. So as you know, wo is dative and wohin is accusative. So the first example, the question is wohin gehst du? Ich gehe in das Zimmer. And second example is wo bist du? Where are you? Ich bin in dem Zimmer. I am in the room. And as we know, in accusative, das remain das. On the other hand, in dative, das transform into them. So here we have the 6th and final volume, which is fun recap game. Alright, let's play a quick game. I will say a sentence with a blank, and you guess if it needs accusative or dative. At first we have Ich gebe dash Lehrer ein Buch. Ich gebe blank Lehrer ein Buch. And here's a hint for you. Lehrer has the article der. Okay, let's continue with the next one. Wir sehen dash Film. Wir sehen the article then Film. Here's a hint for you. Film has the article der. Okay, let's continue with the next one. Ich spreche mit dash Frau. Ich spreche mit dash Frau. So here's a hint for you. Frau has the article die. So based off what you have learned, you have to identify whether the sentence is accusative or dative. Then you have to just transform die into either accusative or dative. Next we have die Kinder laufen in dash Garten. Die Kinder laufen in dash Garten. And here's the hint for you. Garten has the article der. Now do the last one. Er sitzt auf dash Stuhl. Er sitzt auf dash Stuhl. So here's the hint. Stuhl has the article der. Okay, drop your answers in the comments and test yourself. So that was for today. If you enjoyed this video, give a thumbs up, and if you're a beginner and want to improve your German, then you can check out this playlist where I gave you my A1 and A2 crash course absolutely for free. So see you in tomorrow's video. Till then, take care. Bye bye.